Welcome to this wonderful episode of One Date to Love. And my guest today is Laura Bonarrigo, who is a marvelous actress that I worked with on One Life to Live, as I'm sure you know. And we were arch enemies on that show, and clearly not arch enemies in real life. And I've been following her on Instagram and finding out all these cool things that she's doing. And I wanted to invite her to be on One Date to Love. So welcome, Laura.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy you could do this. It's awesome. So
Yes.
where are you right now?
Currently in Portland, Maine. I split my time between New York City and Portland, Maine.
Oh, I remember you were from Maine. You were like
Yes.
you were like Miss Maine, weren't you?
I had a teenage title. So I was
Yeah.
Miss Maine National Teenager. That's right.
Awesome. I was Miss Teen All-American. I did that. I knew we both did that. I'm friends with a woman who was Miss New Hampshire
Oh
too.
my goodness.
Yeah, we just we find one another. It's
Yes, well,
hysterical.
it's the prom thing. It's the whole
Yeah.
tiara pageant, how do you wear that sash?
Yeah, it's a cool thing. It's a cool
It
thing.
is.
So still some of my most memorable work on One Life to Live was with you.
Yes.
And I was hateful.
Minnewaska.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was horrible. That was the first time they tried to kill me off.
Oh my gosh.
And they,
I
and
know, I know the feeling.
I, do you?
Yes, I remember.
I just remember trying to turn that canoe over, and
Yes.
that was no easy feat.
And it was freezing. It was
It was,
October.
I
I think
know
it
it.
was,
I know. It was New York in October, and we were in the water
or
without
was it? I can't remember. April. It was freezing.
whatever it was freaking cold. It was really cold, and we could have gotten pneumonia, but we didn't care because we were on TV. It was fun, but it was really a sad sort of state of affairs. And people hated me so much after that because they loved you so much, and they just hated what I was doing. And I swear, when they wanted me to do bad people on on General Hospital, I didn't even think anybody would take me seriously. I thought if I said, you do what I want you to do or I'll kill you, somebody would go, like they would just, yeah, right, sure, you ingenue person. So I had to really learn to play these darker characters because I didn't even think anybody would take me seriously doing it. It's
You
true.
did a great job.
Well, thank you. Thank you, I guess. So what are you doing now? I've seen
Oh
you,
my gosh.
are you a life coach?
I'm a certified life coach. I'm
Awesome.
also a certified divorce coach.
You are?
And I am. So I tell people that I help people find love.
Me too. That's what we're doing here.
That's what we're doing. There you
So,
go.
so how do you do it?
So, I have a pretty strong theories around separation and heartbreak um, and I think that when people are really unhappy in a relationship, it's difficult whether they're dating or whether they're married, and we just all want love. We all just want a little more love. We want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be accepted, we want partnership, we want fun, you know
Yeah.
so that's a very painful thing when it's not reciprocated, or when it's not happening in a marriage, or when one is struggling to find a relationship and they can't find it.
Yeah.
So I work in the relationship space primarily, and I help I've helped kids of divorce, I've helped people who want to leave their marriages go back into their marriages. I help people leave marriages who really shouldn't be married or can't be married or don't want to be married. I help them through the dating process, or actually through the divorce process. I've spoken to clients as they walk into a courthouse. I've helped them on their dating apps and on their dating profiles, which everybody needs a lot of help on dating profiles. Just that's really important. So just let's do a one-off just on dating profiles. And speaking of which, right?
Yeah.
And then I've helped people even get married, all the way up, all the stages of it.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite, most rewarding part of this job?
The most rewarding part is when they are able to keep their own self-esteem and self-respect throughout the whole thing. because
whatever stage they're in.
whatever stage they're in, because people really do terrible things to one another when they don't know how to manage themselves.
How do you get if there's two people that are in a divorce situation and there's one
Okay.
person who is really, really hateful and withholding toward the other person, how would you tell this person that's being hurt by this other person to handle this horrible behavior? I know somebody who was left with 12 cents in the bank, and the husband just left her with 12 cents and then kept fighting to get the court dates moved up, lying to the judge about her, um, just so many things that were wrong and hateful and sick,
Sure.
really, and kept her from having anything that she really needed, and and it was hard to watch. It was a friend of mine, hard to watch, and I just wanted to go wring his neck, and I guess that's not a good thing to do.
Not if you want to see
Probably not the right move.
if orange doesn't look good on you, Tanya, you don't
I
want to.
know, and it
You don't
never
want to do
has. It never
right.
has. That's the last thing I had on General Hospital was a nice orange jumpsuit. It looked like
There you
crap
go.
to me. But really, it's I don't even know how you speak to those people. Sometimes those people are delusional about what actually happened, and they're vindictive. And how do you have to deal with people like that?
So the good news is I get to select the clients I work with. So I don't, and people like that, somebody who's really angry and vindictive and controlling and manipulating and narcissistic or self-righteous or, white privilege, whatever term we want to describe it, right? They typically don't seek out counseling or coaching.
That's right.
So they wouldn't be my client. Your friend perhaps may be my client. Um, and I do have clients in that situation. It's a very familiar space. The moneyed spouse can be really controlling and difficult. And it can be the male or the female, it can be either. And I really want to make sure I don't have a preference,
I
right?
get it. I get it.
So, and so the person who is being manipulated or left with 12 cents, they have a huge opportunity ahead of them to change the course of their life. Because what I have found, and I tongue in cheek call it post traumatic divorce disorder,
I like it.
is that if one doesn't grieve and heal, they'll just repeat the patterns. Because whether or not it's good for them, it's familiar. So it will feel strange to be with somebody who's actually healthy and somebody who's supportive and somebody who's going to be a partner. That would not feel right. So the person who's, in your scenario, your friend would be the one who has a great opportunity in front of her to really look at her life and make different decisions. And I support people in doing that. I help
That's
them open their
wonderful.
eyes and help them support in moving forward because their life has to be recreated. Everything has to be changed,
Yeah.
right? If you're left with 12 cents, whatever age you are, you have to recreate your life. You have to make different decisions.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, I hope to inspire them to do that.
Yeah, that's so great. That must feel good. That must feel so good to
It
have
feels good.
people
Yes, it
like
does for
especially for
sure.
children in the divorce situation. It's such a terrible place for children to be.
It is and it isn't. I was a child of divorce.
Mhm.
And I think that I think we have to take the shame away from separation and divorce. And like, I have a client who's a relatively new client, and one of the partners, wants out. And the partner that I'm working with is talking a lot about this is such a burden for the children, and I don't want to do this to them. And I said, stop. you are not allowed to put that shame on your children. We don't shame children of divorce. We help them. We get them their support. They're going to become very resilient. They're going to become very adaptable. If they're going from family to family, home to home, they're going to have to be very agile in their life. They're going to have resourcefulness that we don't know what will happen with them. So we don't get to put that burden onto them. We don't punish them for being children of divorce. So I'm very, very protective of the biases around divorce. It comes from a religious history around it, and there's enough shame and guilt. Nobody chooses to leave a marriage. We don't walk down that aisle thinking, I'm going to get divorced in a few years. This will be just for fun. Nobody takes that vow like
No.
that. No one.
No, but what
So
I'm hearing you say is that it's not shame, though. It's not really shame that the person's concerned about. It's they're feeling sorry for the kid, and you're taking what's happening to them and couching it in a different way. That this is the opportunity for them to become in their life in the future more able to adapt to whatever life throws at
that's
them.
right. That's right.
And being able to be in more in control of how they're feeling about things that they can't control.
Well, the most important,
Because life is all about things you can't
it's
control.
all about that. And the other thing is that as long as the parent does their healing work and they're not bitter and they're able to show the resourcefulness in themselves and model for their children resiliency, those children are going to be great.
Yeah,
They're going to really have a lot of pride in what their parents are doing. And, it requires the people who have been heartbroken, right? And both parties are heartbroken, whether they're the initiator or not. Everyone's looking for love. Some people they're a couple of steps ahead. But we're mirrors of one another. We know when a relationship feels right, when it's off.
but there's also vindictiveness and meanness and resentment and things that,
It can be, sure. It sure
yeah,
can be. And also, quite frankly, there's times when really, like, to go back to your scenario, your friend may never feel safe around that person. So their body will respond with anxiety and tension when they're near, because that individual is not safe.
that's right.
There are times in life when we are surrounded by people who are truly not safe people, and we respond, physically,
Mm-hmm.
much
Viscerally.
more intellectually. It sort of catches up.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are times when things must end. And you and I know that, right? As actors, we know that things end.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, there are times when relationships have to end. And um, we can, I had a judge say to me during my divorce, there are three sides to every story. They're your side, their side, and the truth. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
there's probably even more sides, but I'm not going to get into it with you. So I was like, So, like, I try really hard not to take sides or to take biases. I like to deconstruct them because it doesn't serve anyone,
Right.
right? Resentments and um, the bitterness can really dig at somebody. They can ruin somebody's life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, you don't go from separation or breakup to forgiveness. That would be manic. You don't go there. But you also don't need to harbor resentments and anger and frustration and pain your entire life either.
Yeah, right.
You know,
I've just known several people who have gotten divorced from people that wanted them to suffer for a long time.
oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh
they just want them to
yeah.
be miserable till they die. I mean, they just hate the person.
Right.
It's obviously some other side of love, but they just want the person to pay. They don't
Sure.
think the person deserves anything good ever again,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
all that does for the kids is just tear them to pieces, because they love both parents,
Right.
and they don't want to see in this case the mom get totally destroyed, And
Right.
and yet when the mom is righteously angry with the dad,
Sure.
they don't want to hear that either.
No, and our children are not the place to do that. And
Right, but
we
they
do it,
can't
we
help
do
it
it.
they can't be, they're
Right.
aware of it when they're not little, when
They're
they're,
not, and they're very much aware of it. And they, when they're little, they're aware of it too.
yeah, I bet. I
They
bet.
just don't know how to articulate it.
So you said you have a 25-year-old son?
I have a 25-year-old son. I
I
have a
do too.
22-year-old daughter.
Well, mine's 25 and 24.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had them back to back. And I would have had a whole bunch more, but my husband wanted to get a vasectomy because he'd already had 3 other children. And I think he was thinking college, cha-ching, 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 and I don't blame him. Um, but it was something I was so ready for, because I'd worked such a long time that I was really ready for it. Did you feel that way?
I ready. Tanya, all I ever wanted was to be a mom. I got married in 95 and it took us 5 years to get pregnant. So, or
Oh,
4 years to
wow.
get pregnant. Took so long. Yeah, it was really hard. I wanted to be a mom. I always wanted to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are your kids? What are they doing?
My kids are great. They're both in New York City at the moment.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
yeah, my son graduated from Tulane, and my daughter graduated from Cornell, and they're both
Wow.
working. And I just saw them. I was in New York City this weekend, so I had dinner with them Sunday night.
Oh,
I go
nice.
down once a month at least and make dinner for them and see them.
That's awesome. That's
It's
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter Abby is in New York. She works at NBC. My daughter Bella is in Los Angeles and I'm in Palm Desert. So I would much prefer if we were all much closer together, but that's just the way it is right now. And it's hard
Right.
for me. It's really hard for me not to be closer to
It's
them.
really hard. I love New York. I still own a condo in the city,
Yeah, I
which
love New York too. Yeah.
I'm not ready to give that up. So
No.
I'm hoping
Yeah.
to get back soon. So we'll see.
It's a great place, but I
It's
remember
great.
I've never been to Maine, and I remember you saying so many neat things about it. And my daughter Abby just went up there with some of her friends for New Year's.
Oh, really? She came to
Yeah,
me.
they went all the way to Maine. Can you believe that? I'm like, can't you go to just well, what are you doing going all the way up? But she said it was absolutely beautiful,
It is
colder,
beautiful. It's
cold.
beautiful. Cold.
Yeah.
We had a snowstorm today. I have to go clean my driveway so I can make sure I can leave tomorrow. Kind of like, my friends in New York are still like, "What? You doing what?"
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know.
"You
I
have a
know.
snowblower?" Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a snowblower.
Thank God you have a snowblower. Thank God you
Exactly.
have a snowblower. So, what do you do when you see people that need help online dating? What do you have? What
Oh, like
what do you
when
think about that? Because I've found that to be the only place for me to meet anyone, and because I don't drink, as you know, and I don't want to sit in bars by myself, and there's just I can't even imagine how you meet people. So now I've been listening to people tell me. So I'm going to take pickleball lessons.
okay, it's pickleball.
Okay,
There you go.
I'm gonna do that. I took one lesson. I took one lesson. It was all women. So I'm like, this isn't working for me. So
No,
I need
no.
to get a little better and then go down there a little earlier in the morning. That's when the men are kicking the ball around
Or
or
go take a golf lesson.
yeah, I've done that. I've done that. And that's in my backyard. I'm on a golf course. So
Okay,
there's
there
really
you
no
go.
excuse not to be, yeah.
Honey, just put a bikini on and sit up by your
Oh
pool.
no,
Well,
I'm not in bikini shape, honey. We're talking decades it's been since you've seen me. I do my best, but that's not my forte at this point. I can do a nice low cut one piece with a high cut leg, but
there you go. Okay.
that's about
Sit
it.
back and just sit on your back and just and they'll come a running, honey.
If you come out here, we could do that together because
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
beautiful this
No,
time
you
of
won't
year.
catch me in a bikini, but
It's
no.
beautiful this time of year. I'm telling you. Well, this is where we used to come on vacation in the winter.
Oh, what fun.
Yeah, Palm Desert is fantastic in the wintertime. Really nice, really nice. And there's
That's
mountains that I'm
great.
looking at and palm trees I'm looking at. It's a
Oh
beautiful
my
place.
gosh,
Yeah,
that's so great. That's
yeah,
so great.
it's beautiful. And you can actually afford a house here.
Yeah, that's good.
That's how
That's
I
good.
ended up here. I went to LA. it took $1 million. I said, well, I'll just go and I'll buy a house in LA. It'll be all right. You know what you can get for $1 million in LA?
I
A
don't know.
shack. A shack. I'm telling you, a postage stamp of dirt, not even grass, because that would cost too much. And then inside, it might have 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms that need completely redone
Yes.
in a neighborhood where you could get mugged.
There you
Like
go.
the likelihood is probably mugged. And I was like, why am I leaving Connecticut again? Why am I leaving Connecticut? I couldn't, oh my God. And the prices of things right now is just outrageous. And
Right.
Abby, what she's paying for rent in New York is just, it's ridiculous. I mean, everywhere, LA, New York, I'm hoping things get better. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject.
It'll get worked out. It will. It
Yeah,
will.
I hope so. So, is your son married?
No, he's my son. No, he's living with his girlfriend though.
Oh, he is living with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if anything happens, you call me.
I'll let you know. Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got 2
So
gorgeous.
are you fishing like for your daughter? You're playing
Yes, of course I'm
master?
fishing for my daughters. Of course I am. You know me. I know how to meddle. I'm a meddler. You're a fixer. I'm a meddler. That's all
There
I
you go.
am. So have you talked to anybody from the show at all?
You know, I'll follow people online,
I do
but
too.
I don't really keep up with.
It's hard because everybody left. Everybody went all over the place.
I mean, and those that are working are all in LA, and you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I'm really excited for
it's
Chris.
so exciting.
Yeah, for Chris
She's
Alderson.
gonna be a mama.
And I couldn't believe how long it had been since I'd seen her, but she's beautiful. She's a beautiful young lady.
Lovely, lovely
And
girl.
I have Chris McKenna on the show. I just did an episode with Chris McKenna.
Oh my gosh, what fun.
So this is so funny. So I said, so when I met you, you were a child. He goes, yes, I was 11.
Right.
He goes, I'm 46 now.
I know. I know.
I just can't believe it. I can't believe it.
He'll throw pictures up on Instagram and I'll be like, how old am I?
Yeah, he's hot. He's really hot, so, and
He's adorable.
I know. He looks like a little bit of a George Clooney,
Nice.
and with Mark Ruffalo used to be a
Yes.
little bit cuter than he is now because he's got all that hair, and I'm not a hair on the face kind of person, but he's got a little bit of that, but he's got more of the George Clooney, and he comes in the other day and he's like so tall.
Did you see him in person?
Yeah, he came to my studio. I had a studio in Malibu that I was shooting in, and that's where I wanted y'all, but you just weren't close by. So
Sorry.
yeah, that's all. So I'm glad you could do this. So there he was, and he was shooting in CIS.
Amazing.
And he's played these hideous, horrible, mean people.
I know, and he's the
like
nicest,
me.
right? Nicest person. Nicest.
I know. I gave him a high five. And you remember his mother at all?
I
Marianne?
remember his mom, Marianne.
The nicest lady in the world.
Nicest woman. I think I follow her on Instagram too. I see a lot of flowers.
Well, they're getting ready to have a baby.
I know.
Yeah, it's very
So
exciting.
sweet.
Yeah, it's
I
exciting.
love that all these young ones are having a baby.
Well, the thing I wanted to mention is that I'm getting this feeling, and I've been saying this recently. It seems like, and I don't know if it's because of The Bachelor or because of COVID or what, but it
Right.
seems like people want to get married again. Are you feeling that?
I don't know that I'm feeling that. What I do know is that there are certainly shifts, right? Like in the 30s, people want to get married, right?
Right. I'm feeling a little bit of a shift where people are like,
Yes, I do know that older people are more excited about dating because of the Golden Bachelor, right? They're more excited about trying it on, which is great.
Yeah.
People are living longer and they're healthier, right? You and I do not look our age, and I'm not saying any numbers. So it's just that's how it is, right?
Yeah.
We don't
Thank
look our
God.
age.
Thank God.
Thank God, right? So people are definitely interested. And what I'm finding is that people are more willing, more honest and authentic, But they really are exploring the idea of having a healthy relationship, which is very, very rewarding for me. That's what I
Right.
like.
Yeah. Well, that's what you've chosen to do with your life now. I mean, I think that's a beautiful thing. How did that come about?
Because I kept giving advice. I kept giving advice, and somebody
You're
said,
on the subway. Somebody says, Laura, what do you think? Would
right.
you like this guy? Would you talk to you or me? Would you talk to that guy? Well, all you
I
need was
used
giving
to.
advice.
I started coaching because I was coaching moms on how to feed the kids well. I
Okay.
had a bunch of different families I was working with when my son was little. I got all these referrals from his teachers and mentors and stuff, and so I was working with all these families, and um, so I started doing like nutrition coaching, and I was like, am I going back to school? And then I was asked to audition for an off-Broadway play, and then I did 2 off-Broadway plays, and
Hmm.
I didn't get that nutrition certification, but um, I started coaching people, and then I thought I should become certified. I couldn't go back to I couldn't go to Columbia University after my divorce and go get a psychology degree. I couldn't do that. Couldn't afford to do that. My financial advisor said, "You're not doing that." So I became a certified life coach. And then while I was working on that certification, I kept talking about wanting to help women going through divorce. And then I saw there was a program for divorce coaching. So I got certified to do that. And then primarily I've coached men. And I love coaching men because when I coach a man, then I'm coaching his mother and his sister and his daughter and his former wife. And like I'm actually helping more women when I help coach a man. So I love coaching men.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so
Do they
I
hit
just
on you?
sorry?
Don't they hit on you?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
I was going to say, I think I'd like
Yeah,
coaching men too. It might be a little more fun.
I know, it's
But you're
fine.
trying to help them. You're trying to help them. I
But
know.
they also listen to me.
Wow.
They're more coachable than most women.
Wow.
Women aren't that coachable most of the time.
That's
I'm like,
interesting.
listen to me, please.
That's awesome. So the
Yeah,
men will listen to you.
they will. And they're willing to move on quicker. They date better. They find partners. I wish more women would allow themselves, they would believe that they like the most painful part. You didn't ask me about the most painful part of coaching, but I'll share that with you.
Okay.
The most painful part of coaching is when you have a woman who's been so beaten down and she can't find her way back up again. That's the most painful part. That's where the bitterness comes in. That's where the resentments add up. That's where the lack of self esteem comes in. And that to me is so incredibly painful.
What do you say to them?
I don't, I say, I'm here. Let's go. I'll take you. Because I know how that feels, to be honest. It's very difficult. And so that's the hardest part. I have a client now who um, just announced, I'm back, I'm coming back. I'm ready to let go of that heartbreak.
Oh, great.
And I was like, I'm here for you. I want to help you, but I can't do it for you.
Right.
I can't do it for you. I can't want it more than you want it for yourself.
Mhm.
I'm here. I promise you, I've got your back. And so to me, watching a sister do that to herself, that's where I just want to, scoop in and hold her and say, honey, I've got you. Let's not do this to ourselves. That's the most painful part. So, um, and more women than men end up in there, though I've had men in that situation too, who couldn't pick themselves up. And, or, so anyway, we get them there too. It just might take a little bit longer.
Yeah. What do you think about somebody that's looking I have to call you for a personal um
Okay,
session
you can
and
call me
pay
for
you and
personal. We can do
and
that.
give you my cash over the phone. But what I'm thinking of for me, if somebody is re-entering the dating scene after like a death or a
Yeah,
divorce,
sure, sure.
and they meet people my tendency, and this is my tendency, is to not want to waste time with somebody just to go out to dinner.
Sure.
I want somebody I'm going to have a relationship with,
Sure.
which is a lot of pressure, kind of, right? But I
Yeah.
know better than to get involved with somebody who I'm not attracted to
Right.
to just go out to eat because I need a meal. I don't need a meal that badly. You can see me from here down. I don't really need a meal. And I just want to find somebody that I could actually fall in love with,
Sure.
and they've got to have a few boxes checked in
Sure.
the get-go. And
Yeah.
one of my friends said, why don't you just just to date? Why don't you just go out with people because you want to go out with people? And I said, because there's a really good show on tonight at 9 o'clock. I'd rather watch it go out with somebody that there's no future with. I've always kind of wanted to, I'm okay with my friends and myself. And, so, but at the same time, there might be a tendency to be reaching too far. Like maybe that person you were married to was the one and only, and maybe the next one won't be that big, that important, that incredible. Maybe one should like go down a peg and actually kind of just, and I don't mean settle, but just stop, reaching for the sun, the moon, the stars, the sky, and just find somebody that they can enjoy the company and perhaps be attracted to and that sort of thing. But I find that very difficult.
Well, we should definitely talk offline.
Okay.
But
I love that. I love that.
I
And
think
everybody that's watching needs to be able to reach you so they can give
they
you
can
more
find me
business.
all on Instagram. You
Okay.
can go to my website, which is laurabonarrigo.com.
Okay.
Set up a call with me.
Okay.
That I think, Tanya, that there are multiple loves in our life. And I think that love is a verb. And the spirit of generosity and giving to another human being is the loving act. And I think that when we, at the end of the day, I always think like, how was I in this relationship? How was I on this date? Was I kind? Was I open? Was I generous? Because I have to like myself in relationship with another person.
Of course.
Right. So if love is a verb, am I being loving?
Right.
Am I loving another human being?
Yeah, I see.
Am I giving in a spirit of generosity versus receiving their resume,
I get it. I get it.
the boxes?
Yeah. So you might have more luck and more fun if you think about what you're giving to them as opposed to what you're getting from them.
That's right.
That really sounds good.
I've done this a bit. Thank
You
you.
have. I think that sounds fantastic. I am so happy that you came on the show, and that's a great place to close, but you've got to come back. Will you come back?
I'll come back.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. What a gift to have you today.
Thank you.
Thank
Love to see you.
And
Thank
make
you.
sure everybody goes to her website and Instagram and follows up, because this is somebody that knows what she's talking about and a good person. God bless you, sweetie. You're beautiful.
Likewise.
Okay. Take care.
Bye,
Thank
honey.
you. Bye-bye.